Yo, what's good, my people? It's your boy, Big Chris, aka the Compton Animator, and I'm here to bring you another WWE SmackDown, NXT, and main event review. So let's get it started. So before I go into anything with these reviews, I want to tell y'all to go check out the Jim Ross report, basically his Jim Ross podcast. I was listening to it this week. Pretty good podcast. He goes into in-depth conversation with Shawn Michaels, talking about everything that went down at WrestleMania, especially with the Undertaker streak. So if you're interested in hearing more about what happened with the Undertaker streak, I advise you to go listen to that podcast. Pretty good podcast, and I like what JR has to say about the business and all the not the business about wrestling as a whole and just how everything is and stuff like that. So yeah, go check out that podcast. So you start off with your first show of the week of the minor shows of the week, which was main events. And main event started off with, wait, first say the date. Main event was on the 13th of May, 2014, and it started off with Paul Heyman in the ring with Renee Young. She's talking to Paul. Renee Young's talking to Paul Heyman. It's basically them talking about, all the stuff that was going down, Paul Heyman guys, and saying, things like Sheamus. And Paul Heyman basically says, don't say a name like Sheamus with a name like Cesaro, who's a Paul Heyman guy. So basically going back forth between him and her. Then you get Sheamus who comes down to the ring, and Sheamus starts talking about, why not say a name like my name with Paul Heyman guy, and just starts going back and forth with him. Then he gives him 5 seconds to get out of Sheamus's ring. Paul Heyman kind of doesn't do it at first. Then he says, okay, I'll get out, and just leaves. And then once he ends up leaving, before a bro kick is about to happen to him, Cesaro ends up running in and hitting him in the back. Then hitting him with the neutralizer, and before anything else can happen, Paul Heyman makes Cesaro get out the ring because Cesaro's getting ready to give him a big swing, but he makes him get out the ring. So you start off the main event show with a pretty okay segment right there. I thought it did what it needed to do, especially setting up a little bit of rivalry for just that point between Sheamus and Cesaro, and I liked what it was for there. So next, we go into a match with Dolph Ziggler versus Damien Sandow. And this match starts with Dolph Ziggler going on his whole tirade about not being heard and his mic being cut off and stuff like that. And before he can get fully into the tirade, Ziggler's music hit and Ziggler starts coming out. As far as these Sandow promos have been going, I haven't been a big fan of them. Yeah, they just haven't really been my cup of tea. I don't think he's not doing them well. It's just that what he's saying isn't resonating with me as far as, okay, he's not saying anything that really care about. Like, if you look at CM Punk's pipe bombs, they were something that was kind of edgy and something that, you really cared about. These feel written. These feel like, they're planned and they're set up for something. I think Alicia Fox, who we're going to see in a minute, has been having better pipe bombs and doing better than this. But as far as this match goes between them two, it was an okay match for what it is. Pretty slow. And I feel that, Ziggler got what he needed, which was a win. He hit the zigzag and got a win off of it. So Ziggler picks up a win. Sandow was pissed at this. And you get into more stuff from both of them later on SmackDown. Next, you get Alicia Fox versus Emma. Before the match, Alicia Fox basically says, "I'm surprised you came out here," and throws the microphone at Emma, and then starts going on a beatdown of Emma. Then, towards the middle of the beatdown, Emma starts kind of getting a little back, kicks her, and while Alicia Fox is on the rope, while Emma's on the rope, Alicia Fox goes to charge, and Emma kicks her, and then they try to go into a couple more moves, but Emma ends up getting Alicia Fox into a roll-up. 1, 2, 3. Emma picks up the win, and this pisses Alicia Fox off, and she just goes on a tirade and starts slapping people, grabbing the announce team, and just, saying, "We are family." She was singing, "We are family," then started, choking on them and slapping them, saying, "Give me your money," and just, she put paper into both of their mouths and was just acting like a straight up bully and just having another hissy fit. Where Damien Sandow is failing to me with his stuff, Alicia Fox is really succeeding. And I like everything that she's been doing up to this point. Some of the things she says here and now, like "give me your money," telling them "give me your money," or singing "We Are Family," it's kind of a little childish, but I guess it goes with what she's doing. This little whole bully thing. It just kind of feels a little bit off, and something better could have been said there. But I really do like what she's doing, and I think that it's really working for her, especially if it's leading up to something with her and Paige. I just hope that she can get a win out of this soon. She needs some wins leading up to a match if she's going to have that. But I like what's been going on with her. Next, you get your main event match, which is Sheamus versus Cesaro. And they put on a pretty chill match here. Both very physical guys. The match comes down to an end where they both get a double count out, and Cesaro ends up receiving a chair by Paul Heyman and just starts hitting Sheamus with the chair. They get back into the ring and Sheamus just pops a bro kick on him out of nowhere, and it just goes down between them two like that. I like the match where it was. I like the whole double count out thing. It keeps both of them, edgy, and just that they're just so badly beating on each other that it's going to be a big brawl. And I like the part at the end where Sheamus finally gets a little bit of retribution, even though knowing that he's champion. So it doesn't put Cesaro down too much, but it does keep both of them at the same level. Sheamus really does. I don't see them continuing on, especially from what we saw on SmackDown. It looks like they're going to continue on with Cesaro going against Rob Van Dam, but hopefully this can lead something to a future, set of matches. Probably something that's going to happen between them at Money in the Bank. So I'm interested to see where this goes forward, or something that can happen to them later on down the line. I'm interested to see where this goes forward. So next you get NXT. NXT happened on the 15th of May, 2014. And the show starts off with The Ascension versus Buddy Murphy and Elise Sampson. And it was basically just a squash match. The Ascension basically just beat the shit out of both of these guys. Then after the match, you had them cut a promo basically saying, they've taken down everybody there on the NXT roster, and they need more of a, more challenging stuff, or more challengers for them. And they're begging for a duo to come so they can destroy them. So you get Kalisto and El Local who come out and basically proclaim themselves as the guys that's going to beat the Ascension. And then you get Kalisto who starts going into a lucha chant, saying, throwing his arms up and saying lucha, lucha. So as far as just character stuff here, I liked it. I didn't like the little beatdown match stuff because I'm tired of seeing the Ascension in these beatdown segments. But I do like the whole Kalisto and El Local coming out, and the everything that's going on with the Ascension as far as their character stuff. They're really over with the crowd, and I'm interested to see what they're going to do with El Local and Kalisto in order to get them over with the crowd as a tag team. So next you get a match between, what's this chick's name? Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. And this match was a little off to me. It was an okay Divas match, but you really didn't get that much of a fight out of Bliss. You basically got her trying to, withstand Charlotte's attack on her, but it really wasn't, especially for, a new girl here. We didn't really get to see her really, come out and come at Charlotte here. So I wish I could have saw more of that. But for what it was, and it was an okay, mediocre match between them two, Charlotte ends up picking up the win with that little flip into a slam, into a neck breaker that she does. I think what do they call it? They have a name for it now. Oh, I can't find the name. But yeah, so she does that and picks up the win here, moving herself on into the Divas tournament. Like I said, it was a pretty mediocre match, but it was okay for what it was. Next, you get Aiden English versus Mojo Rawley. This match, another one where, one guy had most of the offense for the match, which was Aiden English. He had most of the top offense. Then you had Mojo Rawley come in and finish it off. The match really didn't work for me. Mojo Rawley's finisher doesn't work for me, and his character started to work for me less and less. Also, I don't like that they took away the music part to Eddie Nigga's entrance. That kind of, was feeling like it's something missing. Just him coming out to him doing his music a cappella really doesn't work for me. But this match right here was pretty. I didn't really like this match at all, to tell the truth. And Mojo Rawley won that. Next, you get Colin Cassidy versus Angelo Dawkins. This match started off kind of the same way, where you got one guy doing most of the offense, which was Colin Cassidy, but you get Angelo Dawkins, who comes in toward mid-match and starts getting more offense, and it starts being a little bit more of a competitive match. And the match started getting a little bit better until Colin Cassidy picks up the win, and it made this match pretty okay, and a pretty average match that was starting off very mediocre and got to average and started being okay. This was okay match here. Colin Cassidy picks up the win here, and that was the problem of this whole night to me, was that these guys really weren't having competitive matches. It just felt like a night full of just one person doing most of the offense, and either the end person either takes offense at the end and picks up the win, or the person that's doing the most of the offense in a match picks up the win. So I didn't really like that about a lot of the matches tonight. But this next match, which was Sami Zayn versus Tyler Breeze versus Jason Kidd in a triple threat number one contenders match, was really good. This was a really fun match. A lot of good spots here. You had a exploder suplex and German suplex into one hit on with all three guys hitting it at the same time, and then you had a really nice spot where Tyler Breeze hits his beauty shot out of nowhere, and the match ends with Tyler Breeze getting thrown to the ring ropes while Tyson Kidd is on the top of the corner. Sami Zayn runs and does his eat the boot to Tyler Breeze's face. Jason Kidd throws Sami Zayn out of the ring from the top rope, and then ends up doing the elbow drop onto Tyler Breeze and picks up the win here, while Sami Zayn tries to get back in the ring but misses it by like a half second. So I didn't really like the total end as far as Tyson Kidd hitting the elbow drop and pick up the win that way. I would have loved to see him hit like a more spectacular move to pick up the win, but what it was, I thought it was pretty okay. And for the match itself, I thought it was a really fun match here. And you get Tyson Kidd, who's going to face Adrian Neville at the pay-per-view, or the special event as they call it. So yeah, I thought this was a pretty okay match here. And as far as the show goes all together, I thought it was a pretty mediocre show. You had one good match here, and everything else was just mediocre matches with something at the beginning that set up some stuff for another tag team match at TakeOver. But everything else I really wasn't feeling too much. So next we go into WWE SmackDown, which happened on May the 16th, 2014. The show kicks off with John Cena coming out and basically talking about what's going on with him and Bray Wyatt, saying, Bray Wyatt has challenged him to a last man standing match, and he basically says, hold on, do Bray Wyatt know who the fuck I am? Knows what I've done in these last man standing matches? Basically, kind of hitting onto the little Super Cena thing, like, I never go down, you're never going to get me to stay down for 10 seconds, I'm not that type of wrestler, and I'm going to get up no matter what. So he didn't really say that, but that's the whole point of the whole promo that he was giving. He started getting into a little bit of jokiness with the promo, saying how Bray Wyatt doesn't have balls, and he's basically have no balls, and that's the reason why he doesn't meet Cena one-on-one. But as far as the promo goes, I thought it was okay for what it was, and I like more the part where he was talking about, these are that's my type of match. Bray Wyatt needs to know that that's my match. That's the match that I excel at. And kind of like, this guy's challenging me to a match that I excel at. I didn't really like the whole jokey part, but you get Bray Wyatt, who comes onto the screen after that and basically goes at John Cena, saying that I finally found out what I need to do to beat you, and how, what's your Achilles heels, and goes more on, about the whole last man standing thing, and saying that, they're going to have a big match, and just kind of goes more on putting himself over, saying, how big of a guy he is, and how, powerful his message is, and how powerful of what he's going to do to Cena at Payback pay-per-view. So I like, where that was going, and I like where Bray Wyatt came here. He cut a pretty good promo there, and I like part of Cena's promo. So next you get to learn. We learn that Bo Dallas will be on next Friday's SmackDown. He will debut. Interesting to see what they do with him. After that, you get a match with the Usos versus the Rose Brothers. Pretty okay match here. It had a very good pace to it. Both of these guys, had a night. It wasn't too fast, but the pacing of this match was very good all the way through. You got Cody Rhodes who did a couple of heel tactics in the match, but it didn't really lead to a win. You got the Usos who ends up picking up a win after a little bit of misdirection happened, and picks up the win with a super kick, then a then a big splash, Uso splash. So pretty chill match. I liked it a good amount, and moves on to the next match, which was 3MB Heath Slater. Well, Heath Slater versus El Torito. Basically a comedy match. It had some funny parts to it, but there were some things in it like Hornswoggle accidentally hitting Heath Slater in the nuts, which I would have thought calls for a disqualification, but it really didn't. And just a couple other things in it that didn't make it fully work for me, but I thought some of the comedy stuff in it was okay. You get El Torito who picks up the win here. I've heard some people saying that they don't like the fact that El Torito's picking up the win over a guy like Heath Slater, but to me, El Torito can wrestle. The dude's a really good wrestler and does it all the time down in Mexico, so you got to, puts away from a little disbelief here and, just watch it for what it is. But I thought it was okay for what it was, this match right here, and hopefully they can find something more interesting to do with these guys. Next, you get a backstage segment with Adam Rose. Adam Rose is backstage. Well, you get Todd Phillips, the interviewer, who's backstage looking for Adam Rose. They go to his tour bus and there's people dancing around it. He asks the chick, "Where's Adam Rose?" She calls out Adam Rose. Adam Rose comes out. He talks to Adam Rose. Adam Rose, he asks Adam Rose, "Okay, what's your beef with Zeb Coulter and Dolph Ziggler and Swagger?" And Rose basically says he doesn't really have a beef with them. He just wants to have fun, and tells Todd Phillips, or whatever the fuck the announcer is, basically goes with him and saying, let's have fun, and brings out a lemon, asks the interviewer whether or not he's a rosebud or a lemon. Dude says he's a rosebud, gives him a sucker, then puts on a fake afro and starts dancing around. I thought it was an okay promo for Adam Rose. Really, wasn't too much of anything back and forth as far as, what it could have been or what I've seen from him in previous promos, but for what it was, I thought it was a pretty chill promo. Next, you get a Divas match, which was Natalya versus Nikki Bella, and you had Eva Marie as the special guest referee. Basically, more stuff from them Total Divas things. Nikki Bella picks up the win here after Natalya tries to go for a surfboard. Natalya tries to go for a surfboard. Nikki Bella reverses it into a roll-up pin, and picks up the win here. Eva Marie was pretty horrible as a referee here. Her count was horribly done, but I guess she looks hot for what it is. So Nikki Bella picks up the win here. They don't really do nothing with this. It didn't really feel that it went anywhere. It looked like they may have was pushing Natalya to become a heel, but nothing happened. She didn't argue with Eva Marie really. She just gave her weird looks. So I don't know. Next, you get Dolph Ziggler, who's backstage at first, and he's talking about this whole conflict that he had on Twitter with Dave Bautista, and just going back and forth. He's basically saying that Dave Bautista hasn't evolved. He's the weak link of the evolution, and just saying, kind of he's better than Batista. That's basically what he's hinting at, and that, he wants to break the weak link, and he figures that, he can get a win over Batista. And this is where you come into their match. So you get a match with Dolph Ziggler versus Batista. Batista came to the ring looking real pissed. I like that. And he kind of brought that into the match. Both, Dolph Ziggler and Batista, I thought had a pretty chill match here. The way Dolph Ziggler works really helped Batista have a nice match here, especially how Dolph Ziggler works quickly. Batista got a chance to do his special moves. Batista got a chance to do his, big power moves with Dolph Ziggler alone, having a chance to, do his quick moves, do his reversals and stuff like that. So the match comes to an end where Batista is in the is in the corner. Dolph Ziggler jumps up, starts doing the 10 hits onto the head, and Batista ends up hitting Dolph Ziggler with a low blow, and Dolph Ziggler ends up picking up the win by disqualification. Batista is just furious and just starts beating the shit out of Dolph Ziggler, hits him with a Batista bomb in the ring, knocks him outside, then hits him with a Batista bomb onto the barricade. And a really good just beat down. Plus, I thought it was a pretty chill match between both of these guys. And I like the way it ended with a DQ, like the way it was, because, the more heel heat you can draw with this guy, the better. And, I was mad at him here because of what he did. But, that's what I needed to be. So I was good with this. Next you get next they talk about Daniel Bryan basically saying that the surgery went well and that we'll figure out what's the timetable for him coming back on Monday Night Raw and whether or not they're going to strip him of the championships. We're going to hear all that on Monday Night Raw. Next you get a promo with Titus ONeil who comes out and is basically as hot as hell. People, so throat's getting a little sore or whatever you want to call it. But Titus ONeil comes out and he's basically talking to Sheamus saying, I beat the shit out of you and, I'm a tough guy, you're a tough guy, but these girls at the back are tough guys. Everybody's a tough guy, and basically saying I'm gonna beat the shit out of you and get the fuck out of my ring. Throws the mic down, turns around and gives the mic to the people on the outside, turns back around and eats a bro kick out of nowhere. And it was shocking, to say the least, just saying, oh shit, he get a bro kick. I actually liked it, Sheamus picks up the win from it, and it made him look strong, kind of made Titus ONeil look weak here, but, Titus ONeil's got to cut a promo, so I was happy about that. But, U.S. champion makes him look stronger, it makes the belt look stronger, so yeah, it was okay for what it was, and I liked it for what it was. Next, you get a match with Damien Sandow, who calls out an opponent, saying any opponent from the back comes and fight him. And it's Santino Marella who comes out with Emma. Damn, they need to get Emma away from Santino. But the match itself was pretty shitty. Santino hits the Cobra on the Sandow within like a minute, and that was basically it. The only thing I liked about from this segment was how Sandow was acting, and he acted this way in a promo earlier in the night, which was a European promo, which is Cesaro is the interviewer, and they usually don't show him in the States, but I saw it online. But he's basically saying, I'm just here to do what the fans want, and they want me to dress crazy and all this other stuff. And he's being sarcastic the whole time he's talking about this. And once after this match, he's doing the same thing. That's what you want. You want the smart guy to lose. Isn't that what you want? You should be happy. So I really did like that aspect of him being sarcastic and just, making it look like he probably even lost this match on purpose, saying, this is what you want. Have the smart guy lose. And stuff like that. So hopefully he plays more up on that than what he's been doing for the last couple of days. So after that, you get Paul Heyman, who comes out, and you have R-Truth who's in the ring, and Paul Heyman's basically going on about, what is the truth? The truth is that his client Brock Lesnar beat the streak, and the truth is that anytime a Paul Heyman guy comes up, they're great. They come to greatness. And, the truth is about, he starts hyping up Cesaro and brings out Cesaro. And you get a pretty quick match between Truth and Cesaro, basically a squash match. Truth gets a little bit of offense in, but Cesaro takes most of the offense and then hits the neutralizer and picks up the win. Match was mediocre for what it was. So next you get your final match of the night, which John Cena versus one of the Wyatt family members. And John Cena comes out, then the Wyatt family comes out. They surround the ring, and it looks like they're going to go for a beatdown, but the Usos come out to help John Cena, and you get a big stare down. Then he comes back for commercial. Bray Wyatt starts talking to both guys, and he sends out Eric Rowan in the fight. So you get what I thought was a pretty chill match between these two guys. I thought they went in there and they put on a nice match. Eric Rowan looks a lot better here. You can tell that him and John Cena's been working together, especially just to see, okay, Eric Rowan, how can you get a good match out of both of us? And I thought that they put on a pretty chill match here. They both kept a nice pace between it. Eric Rowan looked very strong against John Cena, and I thought the match needed to do what it needed to do, which was keep John Cena looking strong and looking like he has an edge only if the Wyatts doesn't fuck his shit up, but showing that Eric Rowan is also a strong guy. And I like how they played the Usos into this match as well, where, anytime Bray Wyatt tries something, the Usos would come out and, basically stop it. You had one point where Luke Harper runs into the ring to try to get John Cena, and and the Usos come and dive onto him, hits him with a super kick, then dive onto him outside. So the match comes down to an end where fucking alarm clock. So many distractions in this damn review. The match comes to an end where John Cena ends up going for the AA onto Eric Rowan, and John Cena hits the AA. Bray Wyatt tries to get in. Usos stop him. John Cena picks up the win, and they just have a big stare down with Bray Wyatt just smiling at all of them and stuff. So I like the match. I like the way it went. I like all the stuff with the Usos. I like how the Usos are now, coming out as helpers for John Cena, and hopefully this leads into a tag team bout between the Usos and the Wyatts, and that way John Cena and Bray Wyatt can have a one-on-one match between each other. That will be, just them two going down at it, and hopefully that will make a better match than probably the best match that they had if it can just be them two going at it. So, as far as the show went tonight, I thought it was a okay show here. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Yeah, the show was okay. It really wasn't too many great things in here. I like the stuff with Batista and Dolph Ziggler. I like the main event match, and I like the opening match, but all three of them weren't like really good matches, so they didn't really help this whole show from being, pretty average. I thought it was an average show. I thought as far as the minor mid-level shows of the WWE this week, I thought this was the best show that they put on, but just all these shows combined were just pretty average to me. As far as my ratings go, for main events, I would give it a C+. For NXT, I would give it a C-, and for SmackDown, I would give it a B-. So, those are my reviews. Thank you for watching. Hit me up on my links down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and keep watching wrestling, people. And go listen to some of these wrestling podcasts out there. The Stone Cold one is good. The Jim Ross one is good. And there are a few others that I really do like. Peace.